do everything. But do you wanna wait and have the whole hog, or you wanna have some now and some later?
I want to use my time and money effectively so that we're not talking about this in 25 years.
Well, let's get back to my original question. I think the first thing to get on the record is a vote that these trustees in 2022 affirm pursuing a new library building. It doesn't describe what that building will be. And I don't know, I'm very tired this time of day. I don't know what being crystal clear about that means. How would this vote differ from previous votes that became sources of contention? So I'm looking for your wisdom and insight to understand that. But can this board affirm that as a long-range goal? I think there's so many arguments in favor, but a person could say, nope, we're just making do with what we have, which is good. It's got its problems. You know,
Yeah,
that's a position one could take, and maybe people would take. Is this the position this group takes, or are you looking for growth, greater impact, and greater facilities too? Sounds like a leading question. I'm sorry about that.
Well,
but you see what I'm
okay,
saying.
so
I
do
just
we
want to
affirm
build
that
some
motion?
airtight decisions, one after the other, and then a plan for how we move forward. Maybe a sub-strategic plan, implementation plan that's around facility. But not just to make a statement and sit back and let the current limbo continue, because it's not serving the library, it's not serving the town.
I think I'd say it served us and then it calmed it down, but it
What
wasn't.
served us?
It served
What?
taking the barn library out of the center of our discussions and being quiet about buildings has created an airspace for these other things to occur. I don't know about you, but I was overwhelmed with negative feedback of every type about this library until that stopped. And now I'm hearing positive things. Oh, they're doing this. Oh, they're doing that.
Until we come back and say we're moving forward with a new library, and those same people will come out of the woodwork, and we'll have rooms full of meetings again with Steve Darrow and Debbie Black and all the others.
In fact, I've already seen stuff online
Yeah.
just this week.
I just don't think there's any. I mean, I think we just at some point have to acknowledge that some people are going to be angry, and some people have too much time on their hands, and they don't like individuals in our library community, and they're going to make it difficult. I think we have to decide to move forward and kind of, address their concerns, but to an extent ignore them, or just say, kind of maybe unless it's a student's point, but we're just not going to do it.
What does move forward look like?
To move forward with a building on that library lot, right? Whether or not it's solely the library, maybe it includes some town hall functions, maybe it includes some other municipal services, but and I think that's that's a compromise that we say, we've heard from people in town that think that building is too big, or that think that it's taking too much town money for the hours of operation it delivers back to the town. Here's our compromise. It's a multi-use space.
I think we might have receptiveness there.
Can I say something I hope is not
But
outrageous?
even that takes time. Even that's what takes time.
I don't think it serves us to pretend like having a new building isn't going to lead to higher operating costs. In fact, I hope as we build more participation in the library, we'll have more open hours, which means more staff, which means more cost. But what we're trying to do with every other aspect of the strategic plan is build more engagement and support for the library.
And
Also, as we all know, there are a lot of new people coming into town who I would like us to be serving and engaging into the community, and the library is a great way to do that. But getting back to my original point, to pretend that it'll be zero sum for cost, I just don't think is realistic, and it paints us as not being too bright, which everybody is.
Yeah, or not very honest, at
Yes,
least, right?
yeah, exactly. It will.
And I think we do have to be honest about that. That Grafton right now spends less on its library than comparable other than Dan. People are going to bring up Danbury and Alexandria, but that's so I think it's okay to, I mean, if we want to be brave enough to say, yeah, we do hope that we increase our operating budget because we're providing valuable community services.
And besides, you can't make an omelet without breaking eggs. You can't get something for nothing. You want something, you pay for it. That's how grown-ups
If-
know things work.
If you want it. You're gonna bring this to a up or down vote, and so that's a risky place to get to.
So to me, taking out of the equation, whether it is the barn proposal, which had a lot of support, has a lot to recommend it, but as George says, there's also opposition. Taking that out of the equation and simply addressing the question of whether this Board of Trustees wants to put on the record that they are pursuing a new library building as a long-range plan.
Yes, I am.
I don't see how that's a hard one, yes.
So what is this long range? Are you suggesting another few sessions to develop an actual hard copy long range plan to kind of be an addendum
Well,
to the
that's a
strategic
question
plan?
before us. That's the point. We know the road we've been down and everything that has, all of the challenges that have occurred, and for lack of a better word, the acrimony that's been stirred up. So if we affirm this again, reaffirm what previous trustees have affirmed, then we're gonna need to think about how do we go about it this time to do our best to address what happened the first go round, and how do we reclaim the work that's already been done and build on it. Not just say, we're starting clean, because a lot of work was done. What can we draw from that? What do we learn from the experience? Who do we bring in at what point? What decisions do we ask for from the select board? What kind of, for lack of a better word, promises? This letter says X, Y, and Z. Our plan to address X, Y, and Z is this. If we accomplish this, is that going to suffice? Because if we decide to pursue this, we don't want to see the goalpost keep being moved out. Unless there are things we didn't yet think of that the select board raises that need to be addressed, and just sort of acknowledge that could happen. But I don't know how to lead this any further. That's
So
kind of like
look,
all I've got.
we have affirmed the desire to build a new building.
Well, let's make a motion.
Can I make a to pursue a long range facility plan or
Well, the
or
question that I'm
Yeah.
asking is really cutting more to the chase than that. Does this Board of Trustees want to say that they are in favor of pursuing the construction of a new building as our long-range plan?
Yes.
Not any long-range plan, but that is our long-range plan. Doesn't say what kind of building. It says we're not gonna pursue distributed library facilities. We want to build a new library building. We're doing the distributed approach now, and it's working. We're building participation, but we still have the same problems we've always had, that we can't get around. We can't be more creative than we're being, I guess is what I'm trying to say, with
And
what we've
what
got.
we're doing is a struggle.
Yeah, but it's positive, and I wanna stay positive. But
I
it,
wanna
but
try
it,
to
but
stay
it just can
positive.
only take us so far, and we wanna go further. I wanna go further.
Okay, so now we've made this declaration, now what?
Well, can we make a motion and make it an official vote and word it crystal clear?
Yes, do you wanna make the
so
motion?
so Andrew made a motion for the trustees to pursue constructing a new library as part of a long range plan.
To
Is that-
meet facility needs.
And it was adopted, it was seconded by either one.
To
of us.
meet facility needs, this may sound fluffy, and realize the library's vision,
Okay,
because that's the whole purpose of new facility.
Vision, mission, what did you say?
Vision and mission, you could say mission and vision. Mission is lifelong learning and community spirit, to advance those, and the vision is to, what was the vision? I'm sorry, my brain is,
mine's still on
Right.
Hawaii time.
vision.
A place where all members of our community feel welcome and well served. Yeah.
This facility doesn't do that.
So, I mean, I would be interested in helping to draft that plan. To, you know, that was something that I think Steve threw at me like 2 years ago to kind of get me preoccupied with something else, and then Cindy has followed up with me not so pleasantly since then. So it's something that I've already committed to, thinking about building uses. And I think the selectmen are looking at a building assessment of the town hall. I don't know if
They
they've.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gretchen
no.
is wanting to do a Moose Plate grant to do an assessment
Right.
of the building needs.
Right.
And
So it'd be a
they're-
nice time to piggyback on that and say, you know, if they get a report that says it's going to need $250,000 worth of work to be, you know, enjoyed by more people, then we can say, all right, that's good homework. Do we want to put that into the library? I mean, into the town hall, or do we, you know, think about a more centralized town hall, which could be maybe
Is there enough room?
teamed up with the.
Well, we're gonna need, to get beyond just talk, we're going
Yes.
to need a design.
And it
with-
should be environmentally
because
friendly, which will not go over.
That letter calls for professional assessments of utility needs and so forth, not our personal homegrown judgment.
I don't think it was just homegrown, but more detailed for sure.
Okay.
Did you second that, Karen? That's what I
Yes.
put in my, okay.
It was unanimous. Well, okay, I'm still confused on where we're gonna go. Are you then gonna go talk with the select board about, you know, town-wide planning?
Can I make a suggestion? There's more, I think simply reaffirming this, opening it up, and continuing the discussion next month is what we want to do
Well,
to
okay,
to advance this commitment.
so. okay,
Rather
so
than
we think
jumping
about
out and starting conversations quickly. We want to be really circumspect
it. Okay, so time to consider it.
and just, but we need to continue this discussion at the next meeting. I don't think it would be wise to push it to, and we're gonna do this, that, and the other thing immediately.
I have no problem with that.
Time passes.
And we can move on, because it's already 7.
But
So
I
we'll
think simply
con-
reaffirming the commitment to pursue
Well, we
this
did,
is
right?
important. Yeah,
And we'll continue that.
continue the discussion for what next steps would be. As far as short-term planning goes, which is the other aspect of the strategic priority, we've talked about bathroom, and Andrew's made it clear that he doesn't think it would be wise to invest in a toilet in this building. Are there other ways, if not to get where we wanna go, to make it better?
Why aren't we going to just pursue the idea and get some real estimates on what it would cost to do it? Reeve has suggested. I mean, why not? At least we'd have a real number, or numbers, something to talk about. My worry is this, you don't wanna be talking about the same thing for 10 years, but you could be tied up and stymied and run all around the place with these discussions about.
I guess
What
my
to do.
would, so 8 or whatever years ago when we looked at utilities here, like a septic system and a well, I assume we brought in septic designers who said too small of a lot, even though the soil is sandy or whatever.
That's what the notes say that I
Yeah.
read.
So
Yeah.
I guess my fear is that if, you know, lease idea is fine and that's good. We, you know, to have this kind of homework laid out, but are we just, you know, are we just appeasing the next person who's going to be rotating through every so many years in the library trustees? And we say, you're right, we should look at a septic system at the current library lot when we've already done that. I don't know where those notes are. I assume it was Sam Vose that we talked to.
I asked him, he had no knowledge of it.
Well,
Okay, what's the matter?
sometimes things have been done and done well in the past, and you just have to bite the bullet and, reaffirm,
So,
because timing is everything. And so that work has been done, but it needs to be lifted up and reaffirmed, because this question is still being asked.
Okay, who wants to take the action to look at those proposals and bring them forward to review? We have them here, don't we have them here? I have parts of them. You had a book, is there a binder with all of that material in it?
There is a binder.
which proposals are you talking about?
The discussion about the bathroom, whether or not it works here, can work here. I'm talking about all of them, quite frankly. There were 3 ideas.
Okay.
One was voted on, they were all voted on, one was selected. But I wanna go backwards a little bit. When I read that material, my first reaction was we went for what was cheapest. And that didn't surprise me, particularly in this town. But then you affirmed, and you suggested, Susan, that there's plenty of grant money out there to build a building.
Well, not that it's simple to get,
No,
but I think the capital requirements could be met.
so
Monies that
the worry
are
about the
available.
price tag is almost, to me, sounds almost second.
I don't know if I'd say that, because in order to get grants, you need to demonstrate that you are putting forward a cost-effective proposal, and
Right.
and have done your homework, and this is the most efficient and appropriate way to meet the need for which you're requesting money. So price is an object.
Yeah.
And the warrant article would still state the total price tag
Yeah. And
with
where the
monies to
funds
be,
would come from.
right. So they're still gonna see a bottom line.
I think, a difference of 100,000, I'm just throwing this out there, would not make or break a proposal. And if something for 600,000 is better than something